already, I think Chris has probably worked out her preference, so it would just be a slightly different coaching session. But if you're talking to somebody who, especially if they've got a confusion over the JMP preferences, if you're starting off with MBTI and starting off with Myers-Briggs, then it's something that you can very easily explain to somebody by describing the different ways that they will use sensing and intuition. So just for today, Chris, I'd just like you to understand that the way that we perceive information can just be really, really different. And that can lead to some interesting situations, because as you're gathering information from different places in your environment, where you go to first is often the most important to you. And so your preference is going to be where you go to. But people who've got different preferences are just going to go to different places. And so as we go through this, it might be a good idea just to think of not only your preference, but who you know who's got some different preferences. So just to explain the preferences that we've got in front of us, which I've already done, so I'm not going to go through them in detail, but experiencing it brainstorming usually, I'll just give a brief explanation of that. And just looking at those cards, Chris, is there one that stands out to you that you think is most likely, given you have a little bit of
the hands-on, the words that come up on here, hands-on, that's very much, and then reality-based and observing. So all those words seem to relate to who I am anyway.
Tell me about the reality-based. What's important in your life about that?
I think because I like things to be practical, and I'm being the teaching background, people have to be able to take something and apply it in the real world, not just the theory behind it. The theory behind it's great, but the theory leads to the practice. So if you look at policy and then down to the procedure, you're looking at the procedural side as opposed to the policy side.
So clearly there's probably going to be your preference or something that where you go to first.
That's absolutely.
Remember, it's not either or, it's first and then.
And then,
so it's
absolutely.
It's not where you stop. You go to other places and you rely on
you do.
places.
I do.
And you rely on other people in your world who also get information.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you look at the other cards, then what can you see there that you feel that is something that you find challenging?
Challenging? Just the words are linked to my understanding. I surmise I like ideas, and I like the way ideas, like this brainstorming, fits into the experiencing, because you need to do the brainstorming to get to the experiencing. So that integration to me works well. I'm not real great on recalling. Even though I could walk through a day quite easily, when it came to exams or anything like that, I was absolutely terrible at exams. Couldn't do exams. Never understood the reality of them. So to me, but history is I love, so it's something I actually will read is history, but this comparing and contrasting. Sometimes I don't think I see that in a broad enough aspect. I don't look at it broadly enough. I don't have enough knowledge to look at that. Predicting, forecasting, synthesizing. I think I actually leave that for other people to do. There's some parts of my brain say, well, that's what you're good at. You go off and do that and leave me alone and I'll go and do my thing. So I actually tend to put my brain into those sort of situations. I'll do what I'm good at and get other people to do what they're good at. So,
can you think of situations where that sort of division of labour or division of thinking has really been helpful to you?
Well, I'm great at writing all the materials and I can teach quite well, I've been told. But recently, being overseas, there was someone who, that's her job, all she does is that teaching, and I'm actually her boss. But I took on the role of not being the boss because she was better at functioning and doing those sorts of things. So she was more the practical hands-on. I think this is what they need. So I just let her go with it without having to go up. But I did guide without her realising I was telling her what to do.
Are there any of these that you find frustrating in other people?
In other, I'm sure there is. Explain other people. Frustrating? No, I'll be honest, I don't think any, because I can see the value. Because I suppose that I'm up here, I can see value in each one of these words, and I look at it from a positive aspect as opposed to seeing that as an issue. Like following hunches, some people might find that frustrating, but I find that, what can I learn from that? What can I add to my knowledge base from those?
Okay, fantastic. So on you can go with a conversation around this, depending on what the reason is for your particular coaching session. From the reaction to that last question, Chris has matured to be able to get the best from all the people that she's got around her in her world. There are plenty of people who haven't matured to that place.
But I would say 3 or 4 years ago, I wasn't in that place. That I would find, I would get, angry or upset over things. Now, I think I reflect more and use other people's experience as opposed to trying to do it all myself because I can't.
So what might have you picked, you think, 3 or 4 years ago? No, that might be difficult.
3 or 4 years ago, I would probably have picked this one as a frustrating one. I would think the brainstorming a few years ago, because they take too long. They're too busy thinking. That I want an answer, I want it now. They take too long to give me that information that I need. So, because sometimes a brainstorming is actually quite difficult because, yes, you've got to think about it, but hold on, I have to do this and I have to do it now and I have a short time period to do things. So therefore, I can't be dealing with this. And even down here with this, you're predicting, but what's the answer? You have to give me that answer. You can predict and discern and envision and all that sort of stuff to your heart's content and have a lovely little play, but my reality is I need it now. So they're the things that make a difference.
And that whole area of under stress, your preference exaggerates, is sort of perfectly described there, Lily. But when there's a stressful situation, the need for her to have experience in doing that becomes hyperactive. The need for somebody to use their introverted intuition for somebody who's an INTJ is stressed also becomes exaggerated. So Andrew, your need to sort of sit back and wait for the inspiration will be exaggerated under stress. What people might be wanting you to do is you get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Sorry about that.
And that would actually frustrate the heck out of me. It would
and
just...
Go, I'm sorry, but I'm not ready yet, which is a perfectly good response. But they might not appreciate that response at that given moment, especially if expert is sensing.
Can I just clarify something next? I've got the shared sensing that would be here. I thought under stress you'd be doing more of that, but just the negative version of it. So in that example, I would have thought you'd be acting more quickly rather than holding back more.
It depends on it depends on the level of stress. So what are your preferences, Margaret?
I think INFJ.
INFJ.
Identifying
So,
with introverted intuition.
Introverted intuition.
Yeah.
So did you sort of get a feeling for that mist clearing and then the light suddenly going on? Did that feel right to you?
Sort of the sleeping on it, definitely.
Sleeping
Just
on it.
trusting, put it all
Trusting
in,
your
and
intuition.
I know I need some time for it to all percolate.
So under a moderate amount of stress, that preference will exaggerate. Under a deep stress, you go into your inferior. So that's when you can assess for yourself your own stress levels. So for me as ESTJ, under a moderate amount of stress, excuse me, I'm coming through. I'm going to sort things out. under an extreme amount of stress, you won't hear from me at all, and I'm into introverted feeling and probably bursting into tears in my car. And I just get, I can be competent in the outside world. I just feel like upset everybody, and I just can't do it, and I just feel awful. And why doesn't everyone think I'm any good at anything? And I just that's under deep stress. So my children know that a shouty mummy is a really much better person than a quiet mummy. Even though she's shouting, way better. So when I shut up and go into that, trouble is brewing. You see what I mean? So it depends on the level of stress. Do you have anything to add to that, Sue?
Well, I mean, I think the BB work is that the dominant and inferior, the first and our fourth function is actually like the spine of our personality. So if we can work on that inferior function, we're actually stronger. And it's when that inferior function lets us down that we slide down into the unconscious, and then we see all that lovely, we see that's demonic extroverted feeling, what you described. So consciously developing that inferior function and activating it when we're under stress. So, for instance, this dominant extroverted feeling is all the group in harmony. Well, if the group's not in harmony, let me step back and let me analyse why the group's not in harmony. Let me reframe what's going on so that it's not the group's not in harmony, there's something that we're trying to refine and understand more, will enable me to stay in balance. Otherwise, I go sliding down.
And also that fourth function, that inferior function, in its positive sense, can play a beautiful role. It's very important when it's not turned nasty and working ineffectively for you. Then extroverted sensing, in your case, can just be that I call it like a psychotherapist that taps you on the shoulder. They say, "Excuse me, Max, have you remembered to look at the reality check? Have you remembered to just look at your environment and see what's needed?" Just that lovely tap on the shoulder. Yeah. And for me, introverted feeling is my inferior function taps me on the shoulder on a good day when everything is going well and says, "Is this really important to you? This work that you're doing and you're putting all this effort and energy to you, is there meaning and purpose to it? You just remember." And it just sits there as this wonderful shoulder tapper. And then when it's, when I'm on song and everything is in line, and it's important that I'm doing my thing, and it's just, So we know when we're on song, it's things are in line, and that inferior functions help us. Any other questions? Should we just go on to the decision making function?
That's around 10 minutes, so do we want to take a 5-minute quick stretch and then